Hi, I'm Dr. John Keon from the Marketing Advantage, where for 30 years we've worked exclusively with the biotech and pharmaceutical industry in sales compensation and sales analytics. Today we're going to talk about sales compensation designs to avoid for a product launch of a rare disease. Forced rank is the first sales compensation design that should be avoided for a rare disease. Now you may ask, what does an apartment high-rise complex, a residential neighborhood, and candy have to do with avoiding rank order designs for product launch for rare disease? Well, let me tell you a little story. Years ago, my sister visited me with my niece at my apartment complex, which was a high-rise apartment complex. Now, my niece came from a residential neighborhood, much like the one shown behind me. And every year, she and the neighborhood kids would have a contest on who could get the most candy for Halloween. Well, guess who won this Halloween? It was easy for my niece. She just went from the top floor with the rest of the kids in the apartment complex, rang on all the bells. When they opened the door, she'd go around with her bag and fill up her bag and then go to the next floor, go around. Needless to say, she won that year for the most candies for Halloween. Similarly, forced rank also has that issue. Let's first talk about the pros of forced rank design for rare disease. First, you got to pay out the entire compensation amount regardless of the performance of the sales force. The cons, however, are very numerous. First and foremost, it's very inequitable. Just like my niece being able to win the Halloween contest, the various opportunities that present in various territories is very unequal, and it's a very unfair methodology. Second is the sales representatives aren't going to share their knowledge with one another. They're in competition with each other. So they're not going to share that knowledge on how to get and how to educate the physicians to recognize a rare disease. The third con of a rank order is that it results in the entire budget being paid out. Well, this was a pro. Well, it's also a con, because even if there's very few sales, we're going to pay out the whole entire budget. And finally, it doesn't capture the relative performances between the ranks. That is, that certain ranks are, the difference between 1 and 2 can be very different, yet they're very close together in rank. And finally, the biggest problem is the difference is usually, when they do a rank order for a launch product, the difference between the top payment and the bottom payment isn't very large. And also, it really doesn't reflect the true differences between the performances. And this causes it to not be as motivating as it should be. The second very common sales compensation launch is commission. The pro on this is, it seems very easy to administer. It also sounds fair. The problem with it is, the opportunity and potential are very different. Just like for our rank order, it's also true here in commission. And that leads to very uneven payouts between the high performers versus the low performers. And finally, it results in either too much or too little budget compensation being paid out in the plan period. So this is another one to avoid. The third common launch methodology is management by objectives. With the management by objectives, it's sort of like Little League. Everybody gets a trophy. Everybody wins. The pros are, at least we're ensuring that every sales rep is paid based on evaluations. The cons are, the differences in pay are usually very little. Most people give out 4s and 5s on a 5-point scale. The MBOs are also seen by many of the sales reps as a contest, a popularity contest. If my manager likes me, I get a good rating. If If she or he doesn't, I get a poor one. Also, it also can lead to dissonance in the sales force. If one manager is much more critical of his reps or her reps than another manager, that begins to have dissonance. I want to work for the manager who gave out high ratings. And finally, it doesn't drive sales because it's really not motivating enough and tied to sales performance. The fourth methodology that's very common and should be avoided for a launch product is a national or regional component. The pros on this are, yes, compensation is tied to sales performance. The other pro is that it keeps sales reps who are selling nothing in the money. The con, of course, is the exact opposite of that. It keeps sales reps who sell nothing in the money. And also, it doesn't motivate the sales force like individual sales compensation plans would. If everybody's responsible for selling, nobody's responsible. So let's talk about what the four methodologies to avoid are. Recap: forced rank, not fair, inequitable, doesn't motivate. Commission, straight commission, also not equitable, doesn't drive sales like it should be, and very different payouts between top and bottom. Management by objective, everybody wins, and it's seen as a popularity contest. And finally, national or regional component, where everybody's responsible, nobody's responsible. So next time, we're going to talk about recommended sales compensation designs to use for a rare disease product launch. But that'll wait till next time. Until then, this is Dr. John Keon saying, from the Marketing Advantage, saying thank you for watching and have good health.